Hey, what's up, good people? It's your boy James Harris, of course, Mental Health. Listen, there's still a significant amount of stigma towards IEPs, individual education programs. Education, even though the IEPs fundamentally is a tool to provide students with appropriate support, not necessarily a label that your child can and cannot achieve anything. So we definitely want to ensure that we're changing the conversation around these things to have a healthier framework for these IEPs. This is what students need to access different learning and be able to demonstrate what they already know. An IEP doesn't determine a child's potential. Ideally, it identifies the strengths, the needs, the goals, certain accommodations that they may have, service and support as well. So students has meaningful opportunities to succeed within the classroom and outside of the classroom. Schools can reduce the stigma by, of course, making accommodations readily available and so that they'll feel normal and protecting the students' privacy, educating the family, and displaying different support throughout the time that the student is with them. More importantly, students themselves can be a part of this process. As they get older, you want to ensure that they understand why they're receiving certain accommodations. This can help them develop different strategies as well as self-advocacy skills rather than feeling that their IEP is something that they should try to hide. Of course, there's so many different misconceptions what an IEP is. So some of the questions that I've heard is IEP means that my child is not smart. This is one of the biggest misconceptions and things that add to the stigma. Students with IEPs can have an average and or above average intelligence that may simply need specific accommodations as far as studying, strategizing skills, time management, and so much more. Another one I heard is, of course, the fear of being labeled. Parents and students sometimes worry about the IEP will cause teachers and their peers, for that matter, to view the child differently or as an outcast. That's not uncommon, but of course, we know different people have different abilities. So we just got to reassure that child, as well as the parents, that this is not the case. Of course, you want those common concerns to be lowered. Just change your expectations. Family may fear that the IEP will lead to educators to expect less from that child, will single them out or provide them support needs, or just have them making different expectations than other children. So more importantly for that child, though, the peer stigma is probably one of the most traumatizing things within the school because children may notice that they receive different assignments, testing conditions, and so much more. So they just want to make sure, hey, I'm receiving the support that I need to pass, but my peers are looking at me funny or my classmates are teasing me. So these accommodations on the other end can feel embarrassing or feel like that young person is being singled out. And of course, parents have their concerns as well. So some parents initially see an IEP as admitting that something is wrong with their child, which can make that child feel like, oh man, my parents don't really believe in me, not alone the school system. So just want to ensure that we know that the evaluation process can be emotional as well as difficult. So ensure that this misunderstanding can be clarified and clear. So when staff aren't properly trained, accommodations can sometimes be viewed as giving students the advantage rather than providing adequate or equitable chances for them to improve their learning and or strategize for tests and so much more. So let's do our part in reducing the stigma around IEPs because, of course, other people are taking advantage of IEPs. These things can go with you to college and assist you in benefiting and graduating. And again, those accommodations can be beneficial. It doesn't mean that you're less than or unable to learn certain things. It just means that you learn differently, and these accommodations can help you. So take advantage of them and don't view them as a negative. Either way, have a good school year. Hit me up. You got any questions? www.mentoheal.com, www.mentoheal.com. I'll catch you on the next one.